How do you stay consistent when it comes to marketing your business and creating content when life happens? And why is marketing and content creation always the things that drops way down on your to-do list when you are busy or when you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or just because it's not really your favorite task? Welcome to the Aligned Business Show. My name is Vicky, and today we are talking about how to stay on track with marketing your business, even when life happens, and how to make it a less painful chore or not suck that much, because most business owners do not enjoy creating content. They do not enjoy marketing. That's not why they started a business. It's because they have something they want to offer. They have things they want to do. They have things they are great at. They have skills they want to utilize. The marketing is kind of like that thing that tags along you never really asked for. But I really want to change your mindset about marketing, because I think the way that we are taught marketing and the way most people talk about marketing and creating content is such a narrow context. And no wonder you hate it. No wonder it feels like a chore. Yesterday, two of my clients asked me the same question, and is, how do we show up? And how do we stay on track? And how do we deliver on the plan we've made when life is just so busy when it comes to content? And I know they might expect the whole just be consistent. How bad do you want it? Just create more structure. All the things that we heard a million times. But my answer is quite different, because I actually don't think it requires structure to market your business if you find a way to love marketing. And I don't think you have found a way to love marketing. And I don't think the way you do it now will ever allow you to love marketing. I also don't think that the 10-step plan or the next viral format or whatever course you can buy on how to market, how to create content is going to help you love marketing, because they all have the same thing in common. They create a very narrow context for marketing. So marketing is always a chore. It's always something you have to do. It's always something where you just have to suck it up and get it done. And I don't think marketing needs to be that way. And I think you are losing 90% of the potential that marketing, efficient marketing, can have when you do it like that. Don't think about marketing for a second. Think about anything else in your life, something you really want to do. If you only look at the steps you need to take in order to get to that goal, does any of the steps feel really good? They all feel like something you have to do, like a chore, a means to an end, a means to an end, a means to an end, a means to an end. They don't make sense on their own. And as long as that's the way you see anything, it doesn't make sense on its own, you can't find the joy. It will always feel hard. It will always feel like something you have to do. And that's the way most business owners feel about marketing. But you can change that easily. And when you change it like this, it will also allow you to show up in your business way more authentic, way more aligned, way more powerful, way more free. Because let's face it, most content plans are really rigid. You need to stick to a topic. You need to hammer it in. You need to repeat yourself over and over and over and over and find a million different ways to say the same things. I don't think that's the best way to market anymore. I know it had its era. It had its time, but I'm pretty sure it's over. And we have seen a lot of signs. I won't get into that many of them because it will take too long. I want you to get to the juice where you can actually change the way you feel about marketing. But we have seen so many signs that this way of marketing with the 3 steps, the 5 best tips, my way to, here's how you do it, all that marketing is coming to an end. It's not that efficient anymore. We are fed up with getting all the tips and tricks and advice. And the market is fed up with that kind of content. That is also when you sit down and think, what do I say today? What can I create today? What do they need to hear today? What can I do? What can I put out? What can I perform? How can I do it? And you don't actually have anything you want to say. There is no fire. There's no passion. There's nothing alive inside you. So here's the trick. Create a bigger context for your business, for your marketing. Create a bigger context. I know it goes against all the rules of niching down. Create a bigger context for yourself. Doesn't mean that you have to talk about everything. Creating a bigger context doesn't mean that suddenly you are having 80 different subjects you're talking about. But it also means you don't just rigidly stick to one that bores you to death because you think that's the way people will find you. You think that will please the algorithm. You think that will get you further ahead, more views, more exposure because it's clearer, it's more SEO friendly. When you create a bigger context for yourself and you see everything in your life as content, and I'm not talking about the B-roll way where you just film yourself in a coffee shop or reading a book. That's not what I mean. I mean, everything that happens in your life can potentially be content in a way where you show up because life served you raw material and you molded it into something beautiful. You created a sculpture. So here's what's hidden within the question: how do we show up and stay consistent when life is busy or when life happens? What happens in life? Because in that question is hidden a belief that you can only show certain things. You can only show up when life is on track. You can only show up when the circumstances are perfect. As long as nothing really bad happens, as long as you can control things, as long as you can stay on top of your schedule, as long as you can set 30 minutes or an hour aside to creating content, you can show up and market your business. But that's a very small context, and that is a chore. That is so fragile. When you create a bigger context, it means even when you have a hard day, there is wisdom, there is lessons, there are insights that you can share. Because you don't have to share a certain way. It doesn't have to be from the top. It doesn't have to be on the throne or pedestal of the perfect business and the perfect life and the perfect CEO. When you have a day where everything crashes and you need to step into full leadership, you grow, you expand, you hold yourself. If you allow yourself to be present in that day, I guarantee you, insights will emerge, awarenesses will expand. And there will be things that you can use for content. Anything that is alive inside you and currently going on, where you are going through things, where you are experiencing things, where you are navigating things, will always make amazing content because it's alive. But if you only think you can share as an expert, if you only think you can share content that is, here are my proven frameworks. Here are 5 steps too. Here are my 10 top advice. Here is the one thing that changed everything. It will feel very boring and it will be very hard to not see it as a chore, as a task, something you just have to do and get over with so you can get on to doing more exciting things. But if you allow yourself to just share a thought or a moment that moved you or something that happened that made you see life a different way, or a conversation you had that completely blew your mind and opened up an entire new world. Or allow yourself to just be present with whatever emotion you're going through right now and is currently taking up space in your body. And you allow yourself to see what that emotion can lead you to, what doors it can open, what awarenesses it can lead to, and you allow yourself to use that as content. You don't have to show up. You don't have to find things to share. You don't have to do it a certain way. Suddenly, your entire life becomes something other people can actually benefit from. That everything that happens in your world doesn't create obstacles for creating content and marketing your business, but is giving you the best, most juicy, most alive, most felt topics, thoughts, situations. Most people see content as this thing they do to market their business. It is separated from them. It is separated from their personality, from their life, from this current moment. As long as you see content like that, you will never think it's fun. And you will always think it's a task to do. And you will always have this, I have to come up with things. And you are making a 30-day plan and just sticking to it, even though it feels dead. But you are not sharing tips and tricks. You are sharing a body of work. You have the ability with every social media platform to build your own stage, and to invite conversation you find interesting, to start conversation you want to have with people. No more fucking small talk. Your words, your message, whatever you share is intellectual property. It's not just tips and tricks and bullet lists and something that people save and maybe pull out later because they need to go through the list. That is such a small part of marketing. And in my opinion, the changes we're going through, that's not very efficient anymore. When you allow yourself to show up and share your thoughts, your insights, whatever goes on in your life right now, whatever you are pondering internally, whatever lesson you feel like life is trying to teach you right now, how you are navigating things, that is alive. And people can feel that. And that isn't thinking about, what do I post today? It naturally wants to come through you. If you see everything you share as something that could potentially change somebody's lives, and if that is your intention, not just to be seen, not just to get views, not just to represent your business, not just to make sure people don't forget about you, to be top of mind, but because there's actually something deeper, there's actually something you want to share, there's actually something that you get to deliver in this moment to be a channel for that other people can use. It can change their perspectives. It can change the way they see themselves. It can change their knowledge on a current subject that can change their life when knowing that. It can give them different options. It can open doors they haven't even seen before or thought weren't there. If you don't create such a small context for your content and for your marketing, where it's always just a line on your to-do list that you have to do, but you create such a big context that everything that is you and everything that is your life is content, not in the fake, forced influencer way where you kind of create situations that you can share about, but actual lived experiences, current moments, life happening, your thoughts in real time, because you know the tips and tricks. We can get them from ChatGPT or any OpenAI source in a second. If you rely only on information right now, how-tos, your business is not going to survive and you are not going to thrive. But what can never be copied and what can never be replicated is your unique way of thinking, of seeing the world, of connecting the dots, of seeing patterns, of extracting wisdom from right now. No wonder you don't love creating content when you only think you have to create content in a way that represents your business, represents your services, that fit into this very small narrative and context you have created for how you market your business, that follow the content plan that you made with whatever coach or from whatever program or with ChatGPT. No wonder it feels dead and you're not excited to do it. How can you not be excited about life? How can you not be excited about everything that goes on, even when life is busy? Because sometimes life is busy with good things. And the last thing you think of is, oh shit, I have to post that tips and tricks carousel that I haven't even made because I haven't had time. Fuck, I haven't marketed my business in 5 days. I need to do something. I need to go away from life happening, from joy, from passion, from now, from the moment, to go and do something I hate. For a long time, I thought if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't be on social media. I would happily delete every social media platform. Now I know it's a lie. I thought I would because I hated the fact that I needed to show up every day and create something and hopefully somebody would see it. And if the almighty algorithm gods were on my side, it would get more views and exposed to more people. And maybe I could grow my audience that day. And maybe a new person would find me that day. I hated the idea of doing that, of having to do that, believing I had to do that because that's what we're told. But I actually love creating content. I love being lost in the moment of creating something that feels meaningful to me. I love shooting videos. I love taking pictures. I was a photographer before I was a coach. But just doing shots because I needed a picture or a 7-second reel in order to create a post that didn't even feel alive inside me, to create content and market my business. I did not love that, but I love sharing my thoughts. I love sharing these light bulb moments that feels like they change everything in my life. I love starting meaningful conversations. I love when people say, hey, I never heard it explained like this before. And now I suddenly see, I love the possibilities. I love doors opening. I love when awareness expands. I love it. And I love even more that I can have a day where I cry, maybe 80% of the day, feels like it at least, because something is falling apart inside to be rebuilt in a stronger way. But instead of hiding and instead of feeling like I am no use in this state, instead of resisting it because I just need to get to the other side before I can be of value, before I can market, before I can get clients, before anything, you know what? Create such a big context, not just for your business or your marketing, but for your life, that everything you do could potentially make someone want to work with you. That because you go to a flower store and buy a big ass bouquet of flowers for yourself and you walk them proud on the street and you smell them and somebody sees you and they ask you where you got those pretty flowers, and you start talking and they like the same flowers and you bought their favorite flower, and suddenly you connect and that person becomes a person in your life, or that person discovers what you do and they become a client. Go to a party and have the time of your life. Do what you want. Dance on the fucking table if that's your thing, and have somebody watch you and say, I wish I was that free, that liberated, that confident in my own skin, that I could just do that. And when you get off the table, they tuck your sleeve and say, I really thought that was the most brave thing I've ever seen. I wish I could do that. And you start talking, and suddenly 2 hours has gone by, and this person wants you to help them be more confident, love themselves more. Be the person that goes on a vacation and plays so hard with your kids on the beach that somebody walks by and tell you how much they enjoyed seeing that interaction, and it inspired them to be even more present with their own kids. And you start talking about why they aren't. And suddenly you start talking about what they dream about, and their face lit up, and you got a client. I'm not saying plan for these moments. I'm saying live such a full life and allow yourself to create such a big context for your business that marketing is not just a post. Every word you share gets to be part of your legacy, gets to be something you are so proud of, gets to be something that is so alive, so vivid, that it makes you cry when you see it, or it makes you smile with joy, or it fills your heart with laughter. Create such a big context for content and marketing that you don't even think about it as content and marketing. Because every word you share, every post you make is part of your entire life work of poetry. It's brushstroke after brushstroke of this amazing artwork you are creating. But if content is just content, holy shit, it's boring. And if marketing is just marketing, oh my God, it's just a task that you can't wait to be done with so you can go do the real thing. But if marketing is life, if content is life, if everything is allowed, if you don't have to limit yourself to a certain way of posting, a certain format, a certain length, certain topics, or just have to go look at what everybody else do and then go copy paste that, or pull out the viral hook sheet and then choose the next post. If you don't do that, suddenly marketing is you. Suddenly content is you. All of you. It's alive. It's felt. It's magnetic. It's vibrant. And it's way more fun and more enjoyable than creating post after post that you think you have to create because that will be the best way to market your service. Allow yourself to create a bigger context. preferably a context so big that everything fits inside it, that all of you fits inside it. Because every experience in your life can be pulled back to what you offer, not slapped at the end as a CTA to contact you or buy here or ask for a link. But it can absolutely be connected to what you do in your business. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you coach, if you're a therapist, if you make jewelry, if you grow herbs and turn them into medicine, or if you are a masseuse. It doesn't matter, because you do, hopefully, what you love, and where you have perspectives on that matter. And everything in your life can somehow be connected to that, to the body, to the mind, to emotions, to beauty, to luxury, to well-being, to health, to love. Doesn't matter what you do. Allow yourself to see how your entire life connects to that. And I promise you, content will not just be content. It will not just be a matter of, what do I post today? What do I post today? What has the best chance of use? What can I share that people would save? What can I say that people would share? Those questions are so small and they're so insignificant, and they are just keeping you focused on creating content and marketing your business in a way that does not feel alive and does not allow you to live your life and be present with your life without taking time away from that to go and check how far along with your content plan you are and what post is next to share. The biggest context. The biggest fucking context you can create, where you happily share your thoughts, where you cannot not share this thought because it actually changed your life, where you cannot not share this episode because it was too fucking funny, where you cannot not share this conversation because it moved you to tears. That big of context. So if marketing has felt a bit heavy, a bit boring, a bit uphill, and like a task that you just have to check off your to-do list, I think this is why. And I really think that your joy and your liberation lies in creating a bigger context. So everything you do, everything you think, everything you discover, everything that happens to you, every conversation, every fucking flower or butterfly or rainy day can actually be meaningful content. You don't have to believe me, but just watch what's going to happen right now, because we are going to see a big shift when it comes to marketing, where marketing doesn't feel like marketing, where content doesn't feel like somebody's trying to sell us something, but it feels alive. It feels connected to something deeper. So it might be time to throw away that content plan and just try something new. Not because this should work, or this promised me 10K followers, or this is the way to, but because it actually feels better. And that is where everything starts. If you do what you love and you do it connected enough, it's contagious. The same goes for marketing and content creation. You've just seen it way too small. How big of a context can you create that allows you to show up a way that actually feels pretty amazing?